This is Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You're watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
Right, so thank you to the many of you who've been sending me private messages and Twitter feeds and this, that and the other over this WBA situation. So today, the WBA have in fact told Anthony Joshua to make a decision within the next 24 hours. And this is what Gilberto Mendoza had to say. Today, the WBA requested an answer from Anthony Joshua's team regarding his fight with the mandatory challenger Alexander Povetkin. The WBA have allowed over a month extension to negotiations with Povetkin and also ongoing discussions with Deontay Wilder. It appears the Wilder team have not returned the contract for the fight, and therefore we are requesting a date for the Joshua vs Povetkin fight with immediate effect. So that is from the WBA. Now, initial reactions, we know what they're going to come from. All the Wilder fanatics, they're going to blame Eddie Hearn, that Eddie Hearn has told the WBA to do this, all this kind of thing. They will shift the blame from Team Wilder, deflect it as much as they possibly can. But as I said to you guys long before, that Deontay Wilder could have started this damn fight 8 weeks ago. But he didn't. He's been stringing out negotiations, and Povetkin has probably had enough. Maybe Rybinski's had enough. And everybody's had enough. The WBA have been waiting for their mandatory for 3 years. They've enforced the WBA, and Deontay Wilder has been stalling. This is exactly what he wants. He doesn't want to fight Anthony Joshua. He's making out that he does, and he's managed to brainwash a lot of his fans into believing that he actually does. But in reality, they've been stringing it out because they knew about this whole Povetkin situation. That's not difficult to understand, but of course none of them will take the blame. They will consider Anthony Joshua now to duck. But here's the thing. Anthony Joshua has a couple of options here. He could vacate the WBA and fight Wilder anyway. But it won't be for undisputed Deontay Wilder's fault, right? He should have signed it beforehand. So why are Team Wilder going to send the contract back on Friday, but not today? Weird that, isn't it? So this has been coming for quite some time. We knew it was going to come, and here it is. The WBA have, in fact, been very patient. Anthony Joshua's career has been put on hold because of Wilder, when he could have already been in camp preparing for Povetkin to defend against his mandatory challenger that was called 2 months ago. This is why Deontay Wilder took 4 weeks to accept an offer, because he thought that Povetkin and Joshua had already reached an agreement and already had a deal in place, so he jumped in to make it look like he really wanted to fight, but in fact he didn't. But we know all the narratives that's going to come out. They're going to blame Eddie Hearn, Anthony Joshua ducking Wilder, all that kind of stuff. Anything to try and make their clown look good. But we know the truth, right? So there it is from the WBA. They request an answer. They have 24 hours to respond with a date for Alexander Povetkin. They want to know that this fight is happening. Team Wilder have been stringing it on for too long. The WBA know it. We know it. Most logical people in the world know it. Even if you're a Deontay Wilder fan, you should be able to see that Wilder should have sorted this out a long time ago. There is no reason for him to go weeks upon weeks of just pure silence. There was no reason for it. Either he wanted to fight or he didn't. We know it's Team Wilder's fault. Everybody knows. People don't particularly want to be seeing Joshua against Povetkin when there is a chance for Wilder. This should have been sorted out a month ago with the WBA against Povetkin, but Team Joshua have been putting it off, thinking that Team Wilder may actually come to the table. Now WBA's had enough, so Joshua could end up fighting Deontay Wilder, but it won't be for undisputed. How about that? Or he could end up having to fight Alexander Povetkin and postponing undisputed, which means Joshua may end up having to go to Russia. Maybe Povetkin's going to come to the UK, don't know yet. Maybe he's going to go to a purse bid, who knows? But the WBA have had enough. They've had enough. They've been waiting long enough. They've been patient, and we can't blame them for it. Really, we can't. It's nobody's fault but Team Wilder. They could have sorted this out weeks ago, but they kept stalling and pausing and trying to mess about, coming up with fake $50 million offers. They get asked for a contract and they refuse to give the contract. They refuse to show proof of funds other than you should take our word for it. That was pretty much it. So plenty of reasons as to why this has happened. So thank you very much, Deontay Wilder. We're now going to miss out on Undisputed because of you. as in undisputed next. Now you're going to have to wait. And hopefully, Joshua gets past Alexander Povetkin, who is a much more dangerous opponent than Deontay Wilder, as Deontay Wilder already knows this because he avoided Alexander Povetkin. Yes, Alexander Povetkin failed a PED test when them two were due to fight, but he was within the legal limit, so the fight should have went ahead, but he ran away, hence the reason why Team Povetkin then countersued Wilder, and guess what? They won, so Wilder ducked him. So, oh well, at least we get to move on now. We get some kind of clarity. Eddie Hearn is now going to have to, he has no choice but to go with Alexander Povetkin now, nor does Anthony Joshua, unless he's quite willing to vacate that title. Maybe he can vacate the title, fight Wilder anyway, and then fight Povetkin for undisputed. Maybe, why not? For me, I wouldn't blame Joshua for doing that. Just vacate the title, fight Wilder anyway, and it won't be for undisputed, get that WBC title, then go fight Alexander Povetkin for undisputed. Why not? Freeze Deontay Wilder out of undisputed, because that's all he's ever wanted, was to sneak in through the back door for undisputed. He never once unified himself, never once even tried to. He talks the talk, but never walks the walk. So Wilder, you've done this to yourself, son. That's all it is. Everyone else, drop your thoughts below, click that thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you all in the next video.